Some of us have not been as stimulated as others. So some of us have been destimulated, or unstimulated. Some of us haven't been touched in years. The stimulus package hasn't reached all doorsteps. In fact, we learned last night, I covered it, that most vulnerable people, the most vulnerable amongst us, no stimulus. Yeah, like if you don't have a sound address, no stimulus. So people that are already really hurting, they don't get shit. And that's a lot of people, Johnson. That's a lot of people. Just because it's not you doesn't mean it's not a lot of people, Johnson. It's a lot of people. What about all the people that were already wondering how they're going to eat? You kind of relate to them now, don't you? But they're. No, they're people. Just like you are people. That you want me to care about you, don't you? You want us to all care about you. Won't you care about other people who have a hurting, catching hell before this pandemic? Before COVID. That's what we've been fighting for all this time. That's what we've been talking about all this time. All the people catching hell in this country, struggling, the kids that only eat 1 or 2 meals a day, and 2 of those are at school. We've been talking about this for years. That's what the movement has been about. It has never been just about Bernie Sanders. It's been about these people who are hurting, who have been hurting. What you have experienced for 60 days, they have been experiencing for 5, 6, 7 months or years. Okay? And we see how you're taking it. About to lose your ever-loving mind. Your ribs ain't even touching yet. Gut up. I don't know where my check's coming from. Shut up. Live my whole 20s like that. All right, so Nancy Pelosi, what a piece of work. It's going to be a rough night, man. Don't call up with no stupidness. Pity on your soul if you call up here with some stupidness tonight. I will. Woo! Nancy Pelosi unveiled, the House unveiled a new act. It's called the CARES Act. Here's Nancy Pelosi to bore the hell out of you, and then I will come back to try to put it in a nutshell.
We face the biggest catastrophe in our nation's history. Setting aside how we got here, we must approach this tragedy with the deepest humanity as we go into the future. All of our hearts are broken by the loss of life. The number of 33 million Americans who have filed for unemployment insurance is almost unimaginable. This is a moment when many millions of our fellow Americans are in deep suffering. We must have empathy for our heroes, the healthcare workers, for how exhausted and how stressed they are in doing their jobs. Add to that, they may lose their jobs in this economy. We must also empathize with the pain of families who do not know where their next meals are coming from and how to pay next month's rent. It is imperative that we address the needs of the American people with clarity on how we proceed. That is why today, House Democrats are introducing the HEROES Act, named for our heroes, whose provisions are largely based on the 4 previous bipartisan bills we have passed. The HEROES Act focuses on 3 pillars: opening our economy safely and soon, honoring our heroes, and then putting much-needed money into the pockets of the American people. We can all agree that we must open our economy as quickly as we can, but we must do so based on science and data.
No more. And she's the best they got. Okay, so this is not the CARES Act. This is the HEROES Act. The CARES Act is what they're basing the HEROES Act on. This is a new act, okay? You figured that out, though, didn't you, Johnson? All right, so, okay, we get it. We want to put money in the pockets of people that are hurting the most, but there's something here I was reading. This article's from Politico. Pelosi unveils $3 trillion coronavirus relief plan amid squeeze from the left and the right. Pelosi says we must think big for the people now, because if we don't, it will cost more in lives and livelihood later. Not acting is the most expensive course, Pelosi added. We're presenting a plan to do what's necessary to deal with the coronavirus crisis and make sure we can get the country back to work and school safely. Now, this is what's interesting. Representative Pramila Jayapal, Democrat out of Washington State, and Mark Pocan, Democrat out of Wisconsin, leaders of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, are seeking to postpone any vote until next week so that members can fully digest the bill and potentially push for changes. Congressional Progressive Caucus members have been advised to say they're undecided when party leaders conduct a whip check, according to a notice sent out to progressives. So Jayapal and Pocan, they sent a letter to Pelosi and House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, who I hope that Michaela Wilkes defeats, on Tuesday, seeking the delay, asking to have a full caucus discussion on the bill and any amendments that may be needed. Okay, so the bill needs to be tighter. It needs to be more passable. It is appearing that maybe, just maybe, they're throwing this bill together so it gets knocked down. Playing politics instead of actually trying to help the people as they say they are. Says, under no circumstances are we ready to vote for this bill this week. If Pelosi and Hoyer lose support from the left, it will jeopardize their chances for passing the legislation, as few, if any, Republicans will vote for it. Both Jayapal and Pocan have objected that one of their caucus's chief priorities, a plan that includes federal funding for small businesses' payrolls, was not included in the House measure. So they want to help small businesses as well, and that's not in there. Jayapal said she was reviewing listen to how many pages this bill is. 1,815 pages. And was not prepared to support the measure yet. I'm reviewing it. Jayapal pushed hard for conclusion of the Paycheck Guarantee Program, but senior Democrats contend they weren't able to turn the proposal into legislative text, saying it's too costly and complicated. The Jayapal plan, which is backed by more than 60 House Democrats, has a price tag of more than $650 billion for 6 months. We know the stimulus that they're coming up with, the most recent one introduced in the Senate, was going to have $2,000 per adult, if I'm not mistaken, or over a person over 16. And someone said, Tim, they got no chance of passing that. And what I'm telling you is that you shoot for the moon and you'll land with the stars. We have to think bigger. You think it's bad now. We got good old boys at the county, circuit courts, state capitals. Let them have no food left, okay? Let them not be able to, cut on their air conditioner this summer. Let these people start losing stuff. It's going to be tyranny up in here. You understand what I'm saying? You think black people get pissed off? Wait till white people who don't have to usually have to burn candles or, heat the house with a stove. The stove. Wait until they have to do stuff like that. You're gonna see some violence, Johnson. Watch. Like, this is not a new condition for some of us, but for those of us who are not used to it, you're gonna see some backlash. You're just seeing the beginning of this. These damn fools that live in this damn bubble, who are doing well, who don't know what can't make the bills looks like, who don't know what losing your business look like, who don't know what it means when people are about to get put out their homes. Oh, you know what? They keep talking about it's going to be abusive, more abuse going on in these homes, more children being abused, more spouses being abused. You know what else is going to be abused? Law enforcement and public officials. That's going to happen too, Johnson, because people are not going to just sit back and wonder where their food's coming from. I'm trying to tell you. So, yeah, bite the bullet and realize you're about to lose control of your sheep. Your sheep are about to eat the rich. Real talk. They're about to eat the rich with some, I don't know, caviar on top of that. They're about to eat the rich with some sprinkles. I'm trying to tell you, mark my words, they need to get out in front of this right now before it gets any worse. See, they're selling us on this idea, and this is how it's working. They're selling us on this idea that there's a bunch of pissed off Karens out there mad because they can't go to the hairdresser. That's a small portion of people that are pissed off. You just wait, okay? That's how they keep us divided. You watch what happens. See, I always feel like I'm an outsider. I go into a room, bunch of white people in it. I feel like, hey, well, just don't call the cops. I didn't steal nothing, okay? Hope everything's cool, all right? No problems, all right. How y'all doing? All right. Okay, but see, most of my white brothers and sisters, they feel a little bit differently. They feel like their parents done died, they done went to war. They think differently. They haven't been treated the same. They're going to be pissed off, and I'm telling you, they're going to do something. You ain't got to worry about the Latino brothers. You ain't got to worry about the Asian brothers. You don't have to worry about the white brothers who got guns and are pissed off. And they ain't going to be mad at me. They'll be mad at politicians. That's what they're going to be mad at. You look, the shot across the bow was Michigan. You saw that? Did you see Michigan? You just laughed. Look at them. Those good old boys out there looking all crazy. If that was us, I bet you, okay. You watch what happened a couple months from now. See, I think Trump knows that. Look, don't just listen. I'm not saying Trump isn't a scoundrel. I'm not saying he's not taking advantage of this. But don't think. Do not buy into the complete narratives that people throw out there, okay? All the narratives are bullshit, okay? Recognize that these narratives planted by both sides are never the full story. Okay? Know that. Because you're discounting crazy. You're discounting desperate. Okay? That's what you're discounting right now. You're discounting crazy, desperate people, pissed off, angry people. You're discounting that. Don't do that. Nancy Pelosi, you're gonna open your refrigerator and Chuck Schumer gonna be in there hiding. You open that big ass refrigerator up to get you a whatever kind of bar, a $1,000 ice cream bar, and it's gonna be like 3 Steny Hoyer and Schumer hiding in your living in your refrigerator because people trying to get them. I'm trying to tell you, it can get bad. Anybody see Road Warrior? Mad Max? It can get bad out here. Okay? Pee all over yourself and nobody gonna care. It's gonna beat you up and take your chandelier and hang you from it. Understand. Y'all think I'm playing. I've been to Virginia, the rural part, where you see a bunch of cows and guys with shotguns, and you be like, you look over there and see a swamp or some marsh and be like, I could end up in that marsh because they call the cops when no cops come. No time soon. They just tell the cops, hey, I don't know where he went. Keep thinking. All right. You need to pass the HEROES Act, all right, or you're going to need a whole lot of heroes. Oh, the government has a lot more guns. They can't be everywhere at once, though, can they, Johnson? Will they be on your block in time? No, they won't, Johnson. Tell Cody and Samantha, that they just lost their house. In them 3 months, they got a grace period. Now all of it's come due. and they don't even have a job to go back to. They're not just going to go outside and sit in their car and think about things. They're not just going to go join a convent, pray it away. They're going to go to their car, get some things, some stuff out the back, and go have a conversation. And the conversation going to sound like this. Brow! Brow, 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 pop, pop. Keep thinking it's sweet. It ain't sweet.